last week or so, I've been confronted with two different internet memes, the subject of which was the modern man. And the first one I thought was pretty funny. It's got a picture of a dude with a big burly beard, and it says across the top, "If you have a beard and can't change a tire," on the bottom it says, "shave." I liked it, and I even shared it on my own Facebook page. But then the second one was a few days later, and it was a little bit deeper and a little more impactful, especially when paired with the first one that I'd seen just a few days prior. It has, again, another picture of a dude with a big burly beard, and it says, "Can't hunt, can't fish, never shot a gun in his life, won't hike, won't camp, hides behind his wife. Today's modern man," or "this is today's modern man." Now, folks, that's scary to me. The fact that I've seen that just in less than a week, I've seen that same sort of thing portrayed two different times, is a pretty good indicator to me that that's where manhood is going. That's what today's man is viewed as. So my thought process is, if you're not part of the solution, often you're part of the problem. So I'm here to throw my hat into the ring with a series of man skills, things that I think every man ought to be able to do. Some are more essential stuff than others. Some are etiquette focused, but I'd like to take the few things that I do know how to do and pass them on to you if you don't know how to do them. The first thing that we're going to do, which I feel is an absolute essential skill, I feel like every man ought to be able to make a fire with one piece of wood. That's wet. That ought to do. Well, how on earth are you supposed to start wood on fire when it's wet? Well, that's a fine question. It's worth noting that when wood gets wet, it's going to get wet from the ends and from the outside. So there's a very high likelihood that the inside of the wood is still nice and dry. So let's get to it. Hey, looky there. Nice and dry. Split your piece of wood into quarters. Now take two of your quarters and split them into even smaller pieces. Now take one of these littler guys and split it into even smaller pieces. Take your knife and just shave off from one of these inner dry corners. Just shave off a bunch of little tiny stuff. What do you mean you don't have a knife? Get a knife! Take another smaller piece and cut it up into about matchstick size. Doesn't have to be perfect. These little pieces are called kindling, and they're absolutely essential to building a fire. Now, why couldn't you just take a piece of newspaper, wad it up, and light a fire? Well, let's examine that. The newspaper catches fire real easy, and it burns real quick, but in no time at all, it's consumed and it just goes out. So what you need to have is small, very small firewood, working up to larger and larger and ultimately big stuff. Well, what makes these tiny little wood shavings any better than a piece of newspaper? Newspaper is easy to light. Well, it's true. The newspaper lights easier, but there's not much substance to it, so it doesn't burn for very long. It doesn't burn long enough to light the bigger wood on fire. Well, what's the deal with these little shavings? If you look at the very, very edge of these shavings, even though the shavings might be bigger than newspaper, they're a little bit heavier because I can't slice it that thin. At the edge of it, it's paper thin, and that catches just like newspaper does. So the edges are going to catch, and they're going to slowly set the whole rest of it on fire. It's going to burn long enough to set these guys on fire. They're now going to burn long enough to set these guys on fire, and you kind of get the idea, right? When you're starting a fire, you want to have all this stuff right here within reach. You don't want to get your tinder going and then have to go somewhere else to go get your bigger stuff, or bigger stuff for bigger stuff. There's nothing worse than spending all that time making these little shavings and then having them all burn out before you get anything bigger on top of them. So before you start a fire, if you're using brush or something out in the woods that's not all cut from one piece of wood, make sure that you've gathered all your firewood up to, up to pretty good sized stuff before you even get started. So we're going to take this tinder, and on top of the tinder, before we even start anything, we're going to go ahead and make our little teepee, sort of, out of this matchstick size stuff. So right off the bat, when we light our tinder, it's already going to be working on that bigger stuff. And now, we light it off. Light it in a couple of different places if you can, and let it do its thing. One thing that's important is not to leave while this is happening. You walk away to go get something, and you'll come back, and your unattended fire will be out. If you're sitting right here, you can continue putting smaller pieces on there or blow on it a little bit if it needs it. Well, let's talk about this blowing on a fire thing. When I blow on my birthday candles, they go out. Why are you telling me to blow on a fire? Well, it's not so much the fire that you're blowing on. When you slowly direct additional oxygen to the embers, the coals underneath, they get hotter, and the fire gets more intense and gets bigger. Now look at there. We've got our little matchsticks going. So I'm going to go ahead and pile on some more. Don't get carried away with this. Don't do too much too soon. You smother your little fire and put it out. As the larger stuff gets burning, then you slowly put on your bigger and bigger stuff. Now once your fire gets to this point, you can go ahead and put some bigger wood on it. The ability to make a fire has saved many people's lives who were in positions that they didn't expect to be put in. Cars break down in the wintertime, or planes crash, or you get lost in the woods, or the power goes out in the middle of the city and you need to build a fire in your fireplace. So take this and practice it. Practice it when it's not a necessity. Go camping or go to the park and find yourself a barbecue grill and just practice. Make a fire once in a while just to keep your skills sharp, so that if you do need to do it out of necessity, you won't be trying to figure it out at that point. So, I hope that you learned something. I hope this was informative and not too drawn out. And I hope that you'll check back again next week for another Man Skills Monday.